Hey guys, Aaron Hensley here again. Hey, I was just talking to a client today and talking about hitting a target and then what do you do once you hit a target? And it just reminded me of a story that I still use to this day that I wish I would have learned a long, long time ago. Sometimes I need to be reminded about how to keep using this. And so w- how how do you hit a target and not lose momentum? How do you get momentum? How do you keep it? And what is this tricky thing about momentum? And why is it one of those things that we have a hard time understanding how it works? So here's a lesson I was teaching today to a client. And I think I think people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. People need to be reminded more things in life they need to be taught. So because we've learned the things that we need for success in life, it's more about being reminded what we need to stay in front of so we don't keep having to reinvent the wheel, so we don't get lost uh, on distractions. Okay. One of my mentors talks about the lady in the red dress is getting distracted by something that just catches your eye and then you're off to the next thing. So how do we get momentum? What is it? And how do we keep it? So here's the thing. Here's a lesson that I learned as a kid training in martial arts. My son just was on the mat last night competition, one of the world's largest competitions, and I got to watch it from home through technology. And man, I was so proud of watching him perform. And I was watching, and this lesson even picked up there. I'm like, I remember those days, and my son is taking it to the next level, being a third generation. And momentum, even within him, I just saw from the tournament a couple weeks ago till now, what can happen when you leverage it the right way. So, what was the lesson that I learned the hard way? Was this competition every summer? I wanted to win it really bad. So the first year I win all my categories. I go to the finals, the grand championship round, and I'm runner up. Okay. Now I'm the youngest person in the age group. And so it's kind of expected to maybe not win the whole thing. So the next year I'm excited, motivated. The tournament's in the summertime. First of the year, I start getting focused and start training. And then I win all my categories and I get to the grand championship round and I'm runner up again. And then the next year, win everything, grand championship round, runner up again. Fast forward, so 1, 2, 3, 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row, I am the runner up in the overall championship round. It's frustrating. So then I'm 17. I'm about to move to the adult group. It's my last shot to win it for before I move to the adults. And I don't want this idea in my head that like, man, I've won everything except then I get to that final round, I can't win it. So January gets here and I get really intentional, really serious. I decided to add different kinds of training besides just the martial arts. I decided to add levels of different levels of fitness, right? Started running for really probably the first time ever, got in the best shape of my life. But really, really what I was doing is during the running, I was brainwashing myself. I was programming myself to think about the visualization of winning the overall, not winning the categories, because I just felt like I've done that so many times that was going to happen. That was a not a for sure thing, but that was my confidence and my skill set. But I was visualizing like what it was going to be like having that trophy handed to me, someone bowing to me, right? And the person hands you the trophy is somebody super famous and significant in the martial arts world. And so I'm visualizing the bow, the handshake, and all this kind of stuff in the perfect routine as I'm running every single day. I gave up drinking anything but water. Like, I was super dedicated. So July comes around. I'm in the best shape of my life. I win all my categories, make it to the final round. And sure enough, I end up winning the overalls that year, which I have a picture, possibly a post here from that day. Now, you would think, man, okay, what was different? Well, I got more intentional, maybe. But I was intentional before that. Maybe it was the diet. Maybe it was the overall routine. Maybe it was whatever. Okay, yes, maybe. Maybe some of all those things are true. But I don't really like using buts. And I still didn't learn the ultimate lesson there. The ultimate lesson is when the event was over, win, lose, or draw, the event's in the summer. And so I had August and September and October and November and December. I had 5 months of lost momentum of all this work, 6 months of work leading in the seventh month of this competition that I cared so much about for year after year after year after year. And I didn't do anything positive with the momentum for 5 months after that. And so I'm rebooting at the beginning of every year. And so fast forward a few years, and now I'm, in the business of teaching martial arts and trying to be more than just a great competitor and a great martial artist, and even better than a great teacher. I actually want to be great at running the business of this. I want to be sustainable. I want to outlist or outlive the statistics of being just, a number on failed businesses of what people do when they run a small business. So the lesson that I learned the hard way was the best time to maintain momentum, the best time to set your next target isn't after you've accomplished something, It's actually on the ramp up, on the trajectory of what you're chasing. So if you're chasing a competition, you're trying to win, while you're on the path to that victory, win, lose, or draw, you're going to have something after the fact. You go ahead and select the next target that you need that momentum, that roller coaster going up. You don't want it to drop down, right? Because that is the ride and that's fun. But then you got to build back up that hill. So you're already at the top of the hill. What's the next mountain to climb that you can use that momentum to get there? And if you continue to do this, if you were able to scale back your life instead of seeing this is what most people do, and they think when they hit these peaks, they think they're getting better, but actually they're not. They're just hitting the same peak over and over again. Instead of doing that, what happens if you pull back far enough? What you do is you see this, and it looks gradual, but you have this high mountain that you actually never get to. You're constantly aspiring to your best potential. And ultimately, like happiness is progress. If you want to truly be happy in life, it's about having progress. See, listen, as a father of two kids, I'm not looking for my kids to be perfect. I'm looking them to learn and to grow so they're self-sufficient, so they're skilled, so they can handle the world on their own, or at least they can problem solve. And sometimes handling the world is gathering the troops up to help you go fight whatever battle's next. So, whatever mountain you're climbing right now, in business, personal life, professional life, whatever it is, as you're stacking towards that, fitness goals, health goals, whatever you're stacking towards right now, on your way up that mountain, don't let it dip down. Go ahead and start thinking about how you're going to leverage this in another bucket, maybe. How do you gain this energy to leverage yourself to the next bucket, the big thing that's next, the scary goal that you need to go after, that you need to claim publicly? Because everyone else, listen, the bigger the targets, the bigger the goals you go after, the more detractors you're going to have, the more haters. Man, I got some of them right now and I love it because they're not moving the world. They're not hiring people. They're not training people. They're not moving the world. All they want to do is be entertained their whole life. And they want to tear other people's buildings down because they don't know how to build something themselves. And they wish they could. And they'll go to the grave building nothing, maybe not even a family. And if they do build a family, probably just passing on the bad habits. Listen, bullies as kids, when they grow up, you know what they become? Big freaking bullies. And we used to live in a world we could punch people in the face. Huh. Now people hide behind a keyboard because it makes them feel confident, courageous, whatever it is. And reality is there's two ways to build the biggest building in the world. One is just go do it. And the second one is tear someone else down. And most of the world's doing that. So if you don't want that to be you don't want to be that for your family or your kids, give them the skills. And the way you build the skills is you build momentum and you keep riding that wave. Never let it crash. So when you pull back far enough, man, you're climbing Mount Everest. All right, guys, hey, listen, grab some momentum. No matter what the detractors in the world are coming after you. If you want the 1% life, you got to do what 99% of people won't do. You know what they won't do? They won't work on a Sunday. They don't even work on a Monday. Build some momentum. Build your group around you of strong, like-minded, growth-minded people. Let's go change the world, baby. All right, you guys have a great day. Rise and thrive. Let's go.